Hey guys, this is Brent Abernathy. Welcome to the Family First Life Gulf Coast team training call on Monday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. I am super excited about today's call for a number of reasons. I know we do a lot of sales training. Obviously our bread and butter in this business is simplified issue, final expense, mortgage protection. So we do a lot of focus on that and sales training on that and mindset on that. But there's another side of our business that is so exciting to me because it gives us such another way to help people, and it also is beneficial to you and your family as the agent. It's the advanced market side of our business, fixed index annuities, index universal life. And it's an exciting thing for guys. I've grown to love this, and I know Sean will probably allude to this. Early on, I was scared of this type of stuff, plain and simple. I'm just being upfront. I was scared. I didn't understand it. I didn't allow myself to understand it. And I didn't really realize how easy it is and how simple it is. But with Sean's help, with his advanced market sales team help, his AMS team, I realized how easy it was and how simple it was. And it became a big part of my business. And so got Sean Ruggiero with us today. And dude, before I turn it over to you, I do just want to tell you, I've enjoyed being in business with you for 8 or 9 years now. And I just want you to know how much I respect you for a lot of reasons, but you work your tail off and you genuinely care about helping all the agents out there get better. And I can 100% say that Family First Life would not be where Family First Life is today without you and your work and your knowledge. And transfer of knowledge to us as managers and also to all the agents out there. So I truly appreciate what you've done for everybody that's on this call and everybody that's in the company.
Hey, I appreciate that, Brent. And likewise, enjoyed working with you and you being a founding member of Family First Life. We've seen this thing really, change and take off. I think Hall of Fame, what was Hall of Fame originally, like 200K, wasn't it?
Hey, the first year, I think I was 14th in the country at like 200 grand.
Right, exactly. So now they're discussing putting Hall of Fame at $500,000, and we have people doing $1 million a year on their own pen, as they say. But thank you for the introduction. Thanks for having me on the call. We were speaking before this call. And we have seen really everything from the genesis to where we're at today with the excitement of the integrity partnerships, with Family First Life becoming really almost a household name, really coming up there and approaching that $1 billion in premium. When I say $1 billion in premium, we're looking at the simplified issue side. We'll probably eclipse 600. The advanced market side will probably eclipse 300. So you're looking at nearly $1 billion in 2022. And who knows, maybe if we have a big push, we'll hit that there. So as Family First Life grows, what I've found is that, and this isn't just for me, this is for everyone. I've found that the simpler I make it, not like I make everything, but the simpler I comprehend things, the easier they are. And that's really not rocket science. That makes sense. And so what I've found is really working. What's resonating when I speak with agents and agency managers is this idea of taking a step and pausing and asking yourself why you're in the business. Brent, I didn't go to college to become an insurance salesperson. I don't even know if that degree exists, right? Who knows? Maybe out there it does somewhere. But there's colleges for chiropractors, there's colleges for business degrees, and I mean those can be great. Mine was in business, and it was kind of a strange, ambiguous, concept. You could be two teachers, you could learn music, you could be a mathematician, a computer programmer, but an insurance salesman, it always seems like it's a backup plan. The sad thing about that is it really is a great profession, because when I sell you something, okay, if I sell you a life insurance policy then that life insurance policy, if it's properly executed, if you pay into it, it is going to be worth more than what you paid. If I sell you an annuity, it's going to be worth more than what you paid. And think about that. You can't say that. We always talk about your baseball background, but baseball is a great sport. Football is a great sport. I have never made a dime by paying tickets or watching the Seattle Seahawks or the Seattle Mariners, right? I love it, I guess, but it doesn't make me money. Hey, we all need shoes. We all need cars, but we don't buy shoes and make money off of them. And even down to restaurants, grocery stores, these are great professions. All these things that we learn about at school and we consider great professions, in some ways, they can't even hold a candle to what we do. And I'm not trying to be overly altruistic. I'm just saying we really do something that's very cool and very special because we help people. We improve their situation. It takes some discipline, it takes some planning, it takes some money, but we can improve their situation. So I always want to give myself that pep talk every once in a while. And I think agents need to hear that. Mm-hmm. Now, when we talk about the life insurance license, this is a common misunderstanding. People feel that they can't really attack the advanced markets unless they have a securities license or some other designation. And I want to pull that back into focus and say, listen, your life insurance license allows you to do two things. It allows you to protect people's human capital with life insurance. Now, human capital is our ability to do, learn, and earn. So, Brent, when you were 20, when you were trying to get in, the Olympic team, the minor leagues, trying to break into the pros, hey, that's your focus. That's your profession. What happens to the family if you die? If something tragic happens to you, all that ability to do, learn, and earn goes away. Right. So it needs to be replaced with cash, tax-free cash. That's a life insurance policy, plain and simple. But over the course of time, see, when we're young, we've got a lot of human capital and not much financial capital. And for me, not much common sense, right? But as we give up that human capital, we are exchanging it for financial capital. And that's where you see the typical, employed corporate 401k or building up an IRA. And then by the time you hit 50, 60 years old, maybe you've saved up enough financial capital as your human capital has dwindled, and now you can retire. So our license, as I stated earlier, allows us to protect human capital with life insurance, but it also, same license, allows you to protect people's financial capital with fixed index annuities and create financial capital with index universal life. And does that make sense, Brent? Because I think sometimes we think only down that one tunnel vision of this is all our license allows us to do, right?
Yep, absolutely. I did it for a few years, 100%.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon. Now, there's a very good reason why the cornerstone, the bread and butter of what we do is simplified issue life insurance. One, we have leads for it. I've yet to find a good lead where someone says, hey, buy this annuity lead. The person has $300,000 and they're really willing to write you a check. Like, if you can figure that out, let me know because we could retire. It doesn't exist. And so what we have to do is we have to treat leads not as leads, but as people. And people have, and they're all different, people have human capital and financial capital. Some people, right, we've all sat there, 81 years old, still working, COPD, right? They only have their human capital. They have nothing saved up, right? And I'm thinking about someone that I met in Caldwell, Idaho once. The guy was working at this cheese factory and he had no money. And I don't even recall if I could get him coverage or not, but I remember his plight. But as long as he lived, he had a small pension and he had Social Security. Okay, his human capital is there. Now, in the same town, I met a guy that was a barley farmer, or hops or barley, and he was 30-something years old. He inherited the farm from his father, and he had a boatload of financial capital. My license allows me to help both those people. So you have to approach a person as a human being, and with a servant's heart, go out there and protect them. Now, how do we do that? It's pretty easy to start up the conversation about human capital, about life insurance, because that's what you're there for. It's in our name. We are a life insurance agent. It's Family First Life, and they filled out some form of a life insurance lead. So that's an easy conversation to start up. The trick is learning how to ask the questions to find out if they have financial capital or if they need financial capital. Now, we do that with, of course, the golden question. So, Brent, if I was sitting down with you and I said to you and Allison, I said, hey, do you have any insurance currently? Right now, keep in mind, and agents, please understand, anyone who says, I don't feel comfortable asking this question, you're head faking yourself. You're asking about if they have herpes. You're asking if they have what medications they're taking. You're asking that girl her weight. Come on, you're asking some very personal questions. What's your income? All this stuff. By the way, herpes is not a question on the health form, but you get what I'm saying. You get a lot of information about someone. So taking that a step further and asking them, obviously, do you have any insurance currently? Not company owned, something that you would own when you need it, like whole life or term life insurance. We've got to be asking that question. And
Right.
piggybacking on that, we're going to ask them the question, do you have anything that acts like insurance? Or are you self-insured? And that's a nice one to use, Brent, because it kind of strokes people's ego. Hey, are you able to self-insure at all? Well, yes, I am. It's like being a real estate mogul, right? They have one rental, it's a duplex, that they're getting $900 a month off of, but they like the sex appeal. They like the ability to be a rental owner, a property owner. So when we ask that magical question, do you have anything that acts like life insurance, or can you self-insure? It's the golden question for a reason, because if they say yes, you right there have found out they have financial capital and you can protect it. If they say no, they do not have financial capital, and you can use an IUL to create that financial capital. So we use two follow-up questions. And I want to stress this point. I find sometimes that I'm not as clear as I think I am. So if I was sitting down with you and Allison for a mortgage protection, mm-hmm. and I asked you all these questions, and then I asked the golden question, do you have anything that acts like insurance, Brent? Can you self-insure? And you said yes. I'm going to ask you rough numbers. How much is it enough to pay off the house? And you said, yeah, Sean, it's about $500,000. Mm-hmm. I do not stop and go chase that FIA appointment.
Right.
Okay. I just log it in or write it down and continue with why I'm there. And I proceed and I go through it. And maybe I help you out with an Americo HMS cash back. I conclude and conduct the business that I am there to conclude and conduct. Then upon conclusion, I'm going to circle back before I'm leaving. And I'm going to say, by the way, Brent, in regards to that IRA, let's say it was an IRA that you had. You said you had about $500,000. Is that money protected? And see, that's the follow-up question that I don't need to know what carrier, because we have a lot of agents out there that are going to be intimidated by it. Mm-hmm. Don't be intimidated. Here's why. You just have to memorize the questions I told you. Is that money protected? Well, wait a minute. That doesn't tell me what carrier, what product, rate of return. I have no illustrations. I'm not opening up the laptop and sitting down there and making myself late to my next appointment. All I'm doing is asking, is that money protected? See, here at Family First Life, we're one of the nation's leading providers of retirement protection plans. We use something called an FIA. I'll tell you what, Brent, I don't have time today, but I'll be back the same time next Wednesday, and I will show you what I'm talking about. And if I've done my job and built that rapport, there is a very good chance that they're going to say, yeah, sounds good. Absolutely. And all that is another appointment. Our goal, and that's another thing that's changed. Remember, we used to get, like if I had 10 appointments in a week, I thought, okay, I'm doing great. Now it's something like 50, right? But if you need to check that haystack and book that appointment, that's all you did. So do you see how I could be a total neophyte? I could be completely ignorant, not know a darn thing about FIAs, and all I had to do was ask questions and book an appointment. What do I do from there? You go into the CRM, the Integrity Lead Center, or to our website, fflams.com, and you click on the Ask a Specialist link. You submit the information you have, whether you have a lot or a little. At a minimum, you're going to know who it is, what state they live in, how old they are, and how much money they need protected. You send that over. Our team within 48 hours, and it's usually 24 hours, is going to send you back everything you need to know. They're going to send you back the illustrations, the carrier, the product, a description, a narration on what you're going to do. They're going to give you a couple videos that you can pause and rewind and watch and learn how to sell it. And then you're going to go out and sell it. And they also include their phone number and email if you have follow-up questions. And I promise you, the very first time you do it, you're probably not going to be very good, right? But you're going to get way better by the second time. And by the third time, it's old hat. And when we look at the commissions, and this is not an exaggeration, doesn't mean that everyone's going to get one. But when we talk about commissions, if you go land, let's say it was a $500,000 and you're a 6% on an annuity, that's a $30,000 deposit. That will change your life. And Brent, you and I both know, I mean, think about it. When we were starting this company, when we're battling federal lawsuits, state lawsuits, when we're having lead companies burned to the ground, that's not a joke, right?
Yeah.
How did we stay afloat? We had to write our butts off, and you had to pop that annuity once a quarter or so, or you were going to be out of the business, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that's how we do it. We find people through leads and we ask questions to access the advanced markets. Now, let me spin the other one real quick. Let's say I sat down with you and I said, do you have anything that acts like insurance? Are you self-insured to any extent? And the answer was no. Now, statistically, more people to sit down with are going to say no than yes, because we're going to have 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, and we're going to have people who just don't have anything. I'm going to ask this question. Have you considered an IUL to supplement your retirement? And just like the annuity question, I don't bust out my laptop, start reciting rates of return or illustrations. I simply book the appointment for the next week. I tell them that we specialize in helping people build alternative retirements or supplemental retirements with Index Universal Life. I'll be back again next Wednesday to talk to you, or next Monday to talk to you, or Thursday, or whenever you sit down with them. And then you submit it through Ask a Specialist. So it's the discipline to ask the question every time. And it's the discipline to take the time to learn it when you do get your Ask a Specialist, and frankly, be willing to be okay with some failure. Because if you fail 2 or 3 times, but then you succeed that 4th time, and it's that $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 commission, you're going to be very thankful that you did.
Dude, you just hit the nail on the head right there. And as you were talking, I was thinking the same thing to myself. I was like, the biggest key where it changed for me is when I stopped judging the situation I was in and stopped trying to, hey, I might ask 1 out of 15 people those questions that you went through. But was when I made up my mind that I didn't care whether or not I sold a policy in a home, I didn't sell a policy in a home. Every single person I was in front of, I was asking those questions. Yeah. And what'll happen is like you said, it's not like it's going to turn into, 5 or 6 a week annuities written, but you'll start going through that process and it'll become habits. And then now the more when I was hitting off a tee, right? When I was hitting off a tee, the whole reason I did it is to create those good habits. So now when I got in the game, it was like, it was old happenstance, right? And it came normal. I wouldn't have to think when I was facing somebody throwing 100 miles an hour. And it's the same thing with this. If you're willing to put yourself out there for a very short period of time, every single time you're in front of a client and fail, you will learn this side of the business very, very quickly by talking to Sean and by talking to the AMS team and asking questions and things like that. And before we move on to something else, I do want to hit on something, Sean. You mentioned booking that next appointment, right? Finding the situation, finding the money, finding out how we can help them. And then I used to throw up all over people, right? I used to go right then and there. I go into, well, I can do this and I can do this, whatever. And book the appointment. Go ahead and get it locked in, because I find that people throw up all over people, but also they'll get somebody interested. They'll be talking to them, and then they won't lock that next appointment down right then and there. And so they never get back with them. I think that's a huge thing. Go ahead and book the appointment. Sean and his team or myself or whatever, we'll make sure you have the tools you need to go back and help those people. So I appreciate that stuff, man. I know there's a lot of exciting news on the IUL front.
Yeah.
With it's crazy, man. You were talking about the evolution of FFL from the get-go, and I look now and I look at all the different carriers and all the different products, all the different partnerships that we have, and I know there's exciting news on the IUL front with some new carriers, new products, things like that that we're excited about. If you want to maybe just share a little bit about that stuff, that'd be great.
Absolutely. So earlier when we were talking here, when we discussed why the cornerstone, the bread and butter of what we do is simplified issue life insurance is because one, we have leads, and two, it issues fast, right? It issues fast. That's a very important thing. You could be out of the business quickly if you submit everything fully underwritten and open it up to scrutiny, and then the person gets deal fatigue and they walk away, or it can really collapse. So the idea of simplified issue works really well. Now with IULs, they're kind of a funny thing, kind of a finicky thing, not complicated, but you want good pricing. You want to have a low cost of insurance. You want to be able to build up a lot of cash. And normally that can only be accomplished through fully underwritten, which again slows everything down. So I think that's one of the reasons why people have sometimes not paid much attention to IULs. So here's the exciting thing. Fidelity and Guarantee, which is an A-rated company, has built a product that I swear to God, Brent, it was built for Family First Life, but it's the Path Setter IUL. So get this, the Path Setter IUL gives you access to fully underwritten rates. So if you're really healthy, you can get a premier or preferred or a standard or even a table 2, but they up to age 60 and up to $2 million, no blood, no urine, no attending physician statement. You will never be asked for any labs. And so that's killer because it allows us to really attack IULs the way we need to attack them, because people will be putting a decent amount of money. You own an IUL, I own an IUL, right? You Absolutely. Put a decent amount of money in it. You really need that premium to count. And so they have great rates, but they also approach it the way we need to approach it, without the blood and the urine and the labs. Because you and I both know, you start going into that, it's now a crapshoot. I hope the person sticks with it. Right? Yep. It can really elongate that sales tail and make people exhausted, make yourself exhausted. So this F&G Path Setter, and by the way, its comp is really good. We've done a promotion here. So it's 10 points lower than your FFL comp. And with IULs, that's fantastic. The only other IUL we can say that about is the Mutual of Omaha IUL Express, which is a true simplified issue. This is fully underwritten rates with simplified issue approach. And it goes up to age 60 and $2 million. So I know you're going to have a lot of people, I should probably say, who want to get contracted with it. They don't do contracting pre-appointment or pre-policy. All you have to do is, if you have a scenario, and Brent, what's the best thing to do? Look at a scenario on yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Send it over to the Ask a Specialist. So this does two things. One, it gives you practice with the Ask a Specialist. You might have never clicked on that link. Click on that link, put in your information about an IUL, and ask for the Path Setter, which is probably the default one they're going to send you anyways. And when they send that back, look at the amount of cash accumulation. It's like tops in the industry. Look at the policy loans, the income it can give you. It's tops in the industry. It's a fantastic tool. And then by all means, step up to the plate and grab yourself an IUL so you have self-use and you're building a supplemental retirement. That being said, you're able to now accomplish this and get contracted, because you have to have a piece of business when you contract. So asking the golden question will uncover plenty of IUL opportunities, but one of the best places to start is a policy on yourself.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned it. When I learned initially about IULs, that was the first thing I did was Sean, it was interesting. I got policies for both of my daughters, Emily and Anna, when they were 3 and 6 at the time. And then I got a policy on myself and on Allison. Now, at that point in time, we didn't have the disposable income that we did a few years later and stuff. So what I did is I got policies in place that I could handle at that time, that I could overfund at that time. I had X amount of money I wanted to put away each month into one of these policies. And then what happened is over time, Sean, when our income went up and we had more disposable income to put into us, we ended up adding, like, I think I've got 3 IULs on myself. Allison's got 3, so it's as time goes on, you can always, as your income goes up, you can always add more as well. And that's one thing I love about them. And the way it's set up for us is I know now that when we reach retirement age, that we're going to have a significant amount of tax-free income that we can get from those policies. The kids, when they reach age 50, I think they'll be able to draw out something like 75 grand a year tax-free.
Tax-free. Yep.
And
how critical is that going to be? Because we know taxes are going to go up for future generations,
Right. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, I wish my parents had known about things like that. But it's an awesome way to help people, man, and all these different things. And I do, again, just want to reemphasize to people, don't be scared of it. Put yourself out there. Ask myself, ask the AMS team, for different scenarios. The more you go through them, the more you will learn it. And the more you will truly access that capability that our license, as Sean was saying at the start of the call, that our license gives us the ability to help people in so many different ways. And it will generate significantly more income when you open up this AMS side of the business. So, man, you got anything else for the men and women out there?
Yeah, I want to finish with this. I sent you 2 links. They're unlisted YouTube videos. One of them, they're both client facing, consumer facing. So you can use them for prospects. You can use them if you're doing telesales. You can use them just in emails or social media posts if you like to generate leads. But here's what I'm going to challenge you all to do. Each one is like 12 minutes long. It's the 3 reasons why everyone should consider an FIA for retirement and the 3 reasons why everyone should consider an IUL. You'll have them sent to the team here, or put them here on the recording. And I challenge you to watch those, because your confidence, and it's about confidence, right? Here's the box that FIAs work in. I want you confident in this. Anything out here, well, how do they compare to ETFs, and how do they, and clients will say the stupidest stuff because they don't know, right? I don't know. This is what they do. Here's the 3 reasons you should consider one. If you memorize those 3 reasons, you're going to go out into the field extremely confident, and confidence breeds income. Confidence breeds protection. So I'm going to send you those 2 links. Please share them. Please distribute them.
We will.
And for me, other than, every day is a day for us to help people. You let me know if you need anything. You all can email us at info@fflams.com.
Perfect. Well, man, I appreciate you, all that you continue to do. Again, love being in business with you. And I have just the utmost respect for you as a businessman, but also as a person. So thanks for sharing with the men and women today. Okay.
Likewise. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you, Brent. Take care.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.